Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to your Nisemonogatari, episode 4. So, first let's just talk about what happened in episode 3. I don't even know what's about to happen in episode 4. So, episode 3. Where were we? So, very beginning, got it up, pulled it up. We were with Kombaru. Then we went with Kombaru to... Oh, right, we met... What was his name? Like, Kaiki? Right here? Kaiki. We met Kaiki, who... seems to be like the replacement for Oshino, but he has some bad, or at least Senjugahara has some like bad energy or bad history with him, I should say. So whether he'll be a positive or negative replacement for Oshino is still up to be seen. Araragi just runs into Senjugahara randomly, of which I'm concerned about their relationship still. It's really hard to tell how they're doing, because she's always like very like they have a teasing antagonism towards each other in a lot of ways, or at least she has that towards him a lot, of like, I will cut you open and kill you, so it's hard to tell when she actually means it versus when she's just kind of like quipping at him. In regards to like with the OP being different, this whatever the name of this OP is, with that, like with the lyrics of that, I'm trying to say, being like about her feeling uneasy and I don't know, a bunch of stuff that we've talked about before about going back to Araragi, worries about the relationships, asking why Araragi even loves her. Like she's obviously not like super confident in the relationship. It's hard to tell though like how bad it is, because her acting extreme with him, the little box cutter finger thing in the mouth. What a sentence. When she like put his fingers in the mouth and like box cut her for a second, and when she's talking about like, oh, I'm gonna kill everyone. I feel like she said that. She says that like all the time. But that's the thing, like she says it all the time. So it's hard to tell how much she means it. But I mean, oh, and we know that she's kidnapping him because she doesn't want him to get involved with Kaiki. So it's not even that she's kidnapping him because she like wants him to herself. Right? I mean, that could be part of it, but that's not like the core, that's not the reason she's vocalizing, right? It's that she doesn't want him to get involved with Kaiki. So she has a reasonable reason to kidnap him, I guess. I mean, reasonable is a weird word to use there, but she has a non-selfish reason that she can use of, I don't want him to get hurt and intertwined with Kaiki, because she has had bad history with Kaiki. He was one of the people that conned her and her family out of money. I think he was the first one out of the 5 con men before Oshino. So, she has that entire reasoning. So, I mean, we could still say that she's kidnapping him partially because, he's spending this day running around with all the other girls, where, like, he was supposed to tutor with them, but then tutoring got canceled because Hanakawa, quote, had, like, something she absolutely couldn't avoid today, or whatever. Which I assume is something that she's paired up with Senjugahara for. So that's like the thing. Like, why would we say that Senjugahara is insecure about her relationship with Araragi? Like, where do we get the idea from? It's largely the OP, right? Which is like insight into Senjugahara's mind. I mean, we could really read like every OP as insight into that girl character's mind, and then outside of the OPs, we're in Araragi's mind, right? You could maybe even say that as like a fun way to like, who's the meta perspective, or who's the perspective for the character wise for us, or whose perspective are we watching the show through? In the OPs, it's kind of like the girls, whatever girl the OP refers to. Outside of the OPs, it's Araragi. I like that. We can work with that. So in the OP that like is Senjugahara's thoughts, she seems to be pretty worried about the relationship. Can you tell me what made you fall in love with me in the first place? Made you fall in love with me? Yeah. So, a lot of that going on. But, like, outside of that, one of the main, like, ideas that I've had is that it's, he's spending the last, couple episodes, with all the other side characters, right? He meets with Hachikuji, which he does run into Hachikuji randomly, but, he's going over to Sengoku's house and he runs into Hachikuji, goes to, like, a diner with her or whatever this is supposed to represent, has, like, a pretty deep, good conversation with her. Then he goes to Sengoku's house, I think was next. Yeah, then he goes to Sengoku's house. Then he goes to Komburu's house. And Kombaru was naked on top of that. So he's like doing everything but interacting with Senjugahara and his sisters. So I've kind of thought like, okay, maybe that's what's got her kind of jealous and that's what's got her kind of insecure. But like honestly, like I think the reason that he's not getting tutored today is because Senjugahara and Hanakawa planned something or were doing something. Because obviously them two are in communications, right? That's what the entire end of the episode was about. Like her getting the phone call and it was from Hanakawa. So we know that Senjugahara and Hanakawa are doing something. And Hanakawa had something come up today that she, quote, absolutely couldn't avoid or whatever. So it's not even Araragi's fault that he's not spending time with them. It's literally like whatever's going on with Hanakawa that Senjugahara got pulled into is why they're not spending time with each other. So like I'm curious why she's insecure. Because it's like I don't know. I mean, it could be not even that like she doesn't spend enough time with him, because I mean they tutor like every day of the week other than Sundays, and today is a Saturday they had off. So they literally spent time together for the last entire weekdays. So it could not be a time thing, but just maybe like how I don't know. That's the thing. She's kind of hard to read. But there is definitely there is insecurity there for sure. And all sorts of stuff. But man, I love, right, that as soon as Araragi gets this message from younger little sister, so this is Tsukihi Araragi, that says, help me, he breaks out of the cuffs. Because, dude, his eyes literally light up. Look at that. They literally go from black and they to red. And then he busts out of the chains. I mean, this is such a good scene. This is definitely one of the best scenes. Because it's just like, he drops the whole act they're doing, their little back and forth quipping, you know, like, ooh, I'm reaching for your phone in the pants, and it's kind of like sexual. It's like, oh, you know. He drops all that because, I mean, it is kind of, in my eyes, it's kind of a game they play with each other, you know? Like, they're not dead serious focused when they're doing that. That's just kind of how they spend time and have fun with each other in a way. That's, you know. So he completely drops that and says, no, like, I'm going home. And she's, you know, kind of continuing her thing of, oh, you'll have to get past me or whatever. And he's playing along but being dead serious and being like, I will go through and I will make this happen. And he even says, oh, what made you fall in love with me, Senjugahara? It was that I'm so kind and I'm so caring. You know, that's something she's talked about before. And then he brings that up and says, like, me wanting to go save my sister from whatever's troubling her is why you fell in love with me in the first place. Which is just bars. I mean, Araragi completely rolled that social encounter. To which, you know, Senjugahara apologized for whatever's happening with Hanakawa and then, like, is letting him go. So, a lot of really, really good stuff there. I'm really intrigued to see what's happening. It could be Kaiki. That was kind of the big... I mean, Kaiki's, like, he was introduced as spooky, you know? So, Kaiki could definitely have have gone to the Araragi household because there's maybe, like, some bee business going on there. Whew. Talking, man. Okay. Back to the beginning of the episode. Was there anything crazy I'm trying to, like, hit? Let me do a quick little scroll through. It is funny how we keep talking about marrying Hanakawa. Like, literally this entire time. It's just on everyone's mind. Everyone tries to ship Hanakawa and Araragi. And honestly, like, Hanakawa is kind of top tier. You know? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Then, I don't know, just kind of some whatever stuff happens to Konbaru. We've already kind of gone over that. I'm not getting my juices flowing with that opening scene. This, though, Kaiki was interesting. I do kind of, let's listen to a little bit of how he's acted so we can get a feel for him again. He did praise Araragi a lot. This music's crazy, too. Dude, this music sounds like Luigi's Spooky Mansion, or whatever. What was that game called? You know, on, like, that GameCube? Like, Luigi's Spooky Mansion. That game was fire. I'm looking it up. Luigi's Spooky Mansion. Wait, is that the title of it? Oh, is it just Luigi's Mansion, no Spooky? Okay, Luigi's Mansion. Bro! Is that the Luigi Mansion music playing? I'm gonna lose my mind. Okay, sorry. I'll continue. Alright, and then he starts spitting etymologies. Wait! Hey? Wait, this is important. Wait, Araragi, are you explaining the kanjis for your own name? That could be gargantuan. This could be gargantuan. Just give me a second. This will be worth it. Araragi says, yo, it's your boy Araragi in the chat. The kanji are blank. Guy says, I already know him. It's a name I understand already. Bro, he definitely is going towards the sisters then. He's already aware of the Araragi name, which is, of course, the name of the Araragi household, you know? Tsukihi Araragi, Karen Araragi. He's familiar with them already. At least with the name. So I think he understands the name because there's some oddity business going on that he's on his way to do and was stopping by here first to check. To check, you know, this household, the Kanbaru household. Though it was like, I forget the, it wasn't Kanbaru, it was like Gale or something. Also, I love that comparison to a dead tree. Like, I'm a dead tree and you're a sapling. That's bars. That's what I used for my thumbnail last episode. Good stuff. Okay. Yeah, so I'm a Gain. Here it is. Gain. Not Gale. Gain. Yeah, okay. Maiden name of Kanbaru's mother. So, I think he's definitely going towards Araragi's house. Though, where's Araragi biking towards? I don't know, it could be... He didn't follow him because he was, he had bad feeling about it because he was so threatening. That doesn't necessarily mean that they aren't both going to the house or whatever. Because I'm thinking, you know, I'm so bad at names. Kaiki is heading this way. If Araragi's going this way, then, like, what if Araragi's going to his house, then Kaiki would be going away from the house or whatever. But I don't think that's really happening. I don't think we have to worry about that. Like the directions they're heading to try to figure out where they're going. I don't think that's being kept track of enough to like really care. But yeah, him being familiar with the Araragi name is really kind of interesting and definitely makes me think that that's why the sisters are in danger. Hanakawa's connection is where it gets interesting. I'm just guessing that Hanakawa got hoed by Kaiki somehow. Like there was something going on because obviously she has her oddity thing going on with the cat. And she didn't approach Araragi on it, because she could have, right? She could have called him, but she said, there's something I have to deal with today. I think she instead approached Senjugahara on it, because Araragi and Hanakawa, it's not that they have, like, bad blood with each other, you know, like, because they're obviously tutoring every day, but they, you know, have unresolved oddity business with each other, right? Hanakawa, of course, in cat mode went crazy on Araragi, and Araragi only got saved because Shinobu, which, by the way, Shinobu's just still in his shadow. Like, talk about it. What's Shinobu doing in there? Does she literally just sleep in there all day until she gets called on? Is she even still in the shadow? I think she is. Like, we haven't seen her leave. So, she's probably just listening in. But I think it would make sense for Hanakawa to not want to approach Araragi on oddity business. So, like, if Kaiki showed up to her and said, like, something, I don't even know what he would say. But if Kaiki confronted her in some manner, and she had to call someone to get help, I could see her calling Senjugahara instead of Araragi. I could see that happening. Just because it's not that Araragi and her hate each other, but they have unresolved feelings for each other. It's maybe a little bit of an awkward situation, and, you know, I feel like you could even say for Hanakawa that doing, like, oddity work with Araragi was kind of, like, a more intimate romantic thing a little bit. Because, I mean, I'm thinking back to Kizu, where they're doing oddity work together, right? Like, they're dealing with the whole vampire hunters thing. He's a vampire, like, Araragi's a vampire. And that was just laced with Hanakawa, Araragi, you know, sexual and romantic tones, like, everywhere, right? So, I think that activity for Hanakawa could be, like, laced in that, which is why she doesn't really want to call him up when there's that kind of weird juju still going on between them in that romantic way. So she instead calls up Senjugahara, you know, the other smartest person around, and someone that's, like, close enough to Araragi and that knows oddities, you know. I think that could make some sense. And a good girls bonding activity. And so that connects them to the Kaiki story, and the Kaiki connects to the Fire Sisters because Kaiki already knows the Araragi household, and he's attracted to oddities, of which Karen B is probably an oddity, which is also how he got to Hanakawa. Okay, I want to watch the next episode. I'm done talking. Where did we leave off? It was just Senjugahara apologizing. Sick. Okay, yeah, let's do it. I'm curious if we're gonna see any Shinobu in this though. Like overall, like where is Shinobu? Is she just in his shadow? I love Shinobu, by the way. I still love Shinobu so much. She's definitely one of my favorites. Okay. You say 4. Let me take a sippy of my drinky, okay? We definitely need a sip of the Dr. Pepper cream soda, of course. I won't lie, it's like 6 a.m. It's not quite 6 a.m. Wait, how late is it? Let me just check. Let me just check for fun. 5:34 a.m. So drinking this caffeine, probably not a good idea, but, you know, we ball. Do you like that ASMR? Imagine ASMR reaction. Actually, no joke. This is fun fact trivia before we get into the episode. I considered doing like a joke reaction where I literally just react to like an actual hour-long ASMR video and I just fall asleep in my chair. Wouldn't that just be hilarious? Maybe I should just do it instead of telling people. I just spoiled you on that. That sucks. Get spoiled. Okay, let's jump to this episode. Episode 4. 3, 2, 1. Bang! I just want to fall asleep. That'd be so fun. Oh my goodness. Oh, we got home already? We're good? Okay, okay. Oh yeah, what was Karen doing too? We know she was doing something. He still has the cuff on. Wait. Is that Hanakawa? Hanakawa, you look so different. Hanakawa is saying that physically touching or smacking your child's okay if you explain it enough. I have no stake in that game. I'm not commenting on that. I would have hit him back. Oh, it's different between siblings because that's a different power dynamic. Dang, Hanakawa looks so different. True. Okay, so Hanakawa was there. I'm actually surprised she's just... Or no, I'm not surprised she's straight up here. I didn't think that was guaranteed, though. So it's interesting that she is. I'm fine with it, though. Makes sense. What's the quest that you've given Karen? I feel like Hanakawa gave them a quest. I love Karen. She is adorable. Tell me about it. I want to know. Wait, what did that say in his eyeball? They keep putting text in his eyeball, man. It's crazy. Man, Hanakawa looks so different without the glasses. And the shorter hair? What did she do to her hair? I need to see her original hair. I forgot what her hair looks like, but it ain't look like that. Or does it? That's all you are? That's a good line. Whoa. It's being strong. Ooh. Justice is strength. Okay, Thrasymachus. Okay, Thrasymachus. Wow, so that's why he's deeming them as fakes, partially because of strength. I need to rewatch a lot of that. That was some good stuff. It just always goes so fast, man. This is definitely a rewatch show. Like a rewatch show, like rewatch the entire show kind of show. Like once you're done with it, I feel like you get a lot out of that. Also, we're getting this OP again, finally, bro. Also, I got a chocolate shake from Whataburger, not gonna lie. I need to be really careful talking about justice, because if I'm not careful, I'm going to slip into like a 3-hour long tangent. I've written like college essays about that kind of thing, you know? Not that they're like any good. Like I'd have to read them again to like be able to create the conjecture, but man, is that even the right use of conjecture? I'm not gonna look it up right now. It's not important. Let's focus. Okay, Monogatari, come on. When we hold hands, who is we? Is it your sister? That'd be my guess, right? But we're not seeing the sister anywhere. We only see Araragi as the only other. Though we do get the 3 hands. Well, no, there's the sister. I love how he turns into bees, too. That's so good. Imagery-wise, this is definitely the best OP up to this point. This OP is fire. Roof of the school? I got roof of the school. Oh, I love his banana bed. Have I never noticed that before? Mayoi. More desperate. The different faces you wear with different people. Especially with your family. Ooh, good stuff. Projection. About a month. Has the tutoring been going on for a month? That's why she knows him for that long? Because she's been like coming over for that? Oh, they're 15 and 14. Yeah, her hair used to be a lot longer. Ugh. Surely. He's coping, he's coping, he's coping. I like honorifics. I need to actually like learn what they all mean. I like the concept, I like to throw it in language. I think it's a cool linguistic thing. It's like little tags you put on like names or whatever. I wonder if the spell is the snake spell. We don't know what the spell is. What is happening? He's having trouble explaining it. Okay, one of the spell's victims, so the snake one. Okay, it was the snake one. Okay, nice. Just kidding, there's more. Who else got hit by the snakes? Oh my goodness. Why is Nisemonogatari playing on the TV? Why is it playing on the TV? Okay, that was crazy. So there's spell... I like... Okay. Once in a while, they ask me to help the sisters. Okay, yeah. So about a month is... How long? A while, though. A while, that's what matters. Who's calling Karen's phone? Oh, yeah, I remember. But notice how she's not. She kept Araragi out of this. You know, I think that's reflective of their relationship being a little odd, or like, you know, not in prime condition. I did forget about the spell circulating around the school a little bit. I didn't consider that Hanakawa could have been part of that, which she is. That's what's happening. As I put, I got freaking Kaiki's introduction kind of threw me off. Okay, well, speak of the devil. Speak of the devil. Just kidding. I'm always right. I don't. Wait, what is she saying? Oh, you're taking a bath now. Heard. Wow, I love this. I know this bathroom isn't like real, obviously, because it's like inside the blimp. That's like that ornament on the ceiling. It's sick though. Okay. So, why was help sent? I guess I'm confused why help was sent. What was the request? Kidnap? Oh, what's up, Shinobu? I was talking about Shinobu too. Are we gonna bathe with Shinobu? Why are we Oh, she went out. I think she popped out of her own volition. He didn't summon him or her or anything. What's up, Shinobu? And she's been listening. Okay, confirmed she's been listening to everything. She's actually talking to him too. Yes, yes, yes. It is that rare for you to talk. Why are you talking to me? And why are you doing it when I'm naked too? That's when I'm at my most vulnerable. Oh, you're bored. Okay, fair. Oh, jeez, man. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're fine. This show is just wild. This show is just wild. Why you still have the handcuffs on? Oh, when he broke out? I thought he just broke out. She is so acrobatic for no reason. You did not have to do that to get out of your stool. Are you gonna... Oh, thank you, Shinobu. Are you gonna eat the metal? Giga woman. Appreciate that. Daily dose of iron. So she's breaking out of her kind of like her grudge, her silence grudge. I feel like, and every time she says "my master," it's kind of laced a little bit with like, it's a little bit of like bite in it. It's a little caustic. Yeah, because she literally says, my master," and then says, "wash my hair." You know, she's like making fun of him. Yeah, Ragi. Okay. Okay. He says I'll add more conditioner. Okay, Ragi. Oh, for everything that happened in Kizu, yeah. Mm. I picked such a good time to like ask about if Shinobu could like hear him in the shadow. Like literally the first time I think about it is the episode that she shows up. That's crazy to me. It's also interesting like cuz like the show uses nudity a lot, right? And look, she's like breaking out of like her grudge and the little like depression like sink she was in for a minute there. I'll wait. I'll wait on what I was going to say. Mm. The use of nudity in the show is like super interesting to me because like it, a bee. Oh, she's gonna help him out. Like it's not being like sexualized that much right now. Okay, wait. Let me pay attention. I'll talk about that after. I'll talk about that after. That kid's. Oh, Oshino. Well, it was your choice to not talk to, by the way. But okay, fair, fair. Oh, this is just. Oh, okay. This is so weird. I can't believe this. Wait, a fever that kills you? That's bad. If that's has to do with my sister, that's bad. Okay, can you not wash your feet that close to the camera? This isn't iCarly, bro. Who was the guy that made that happen? Fire Sisters, Flame, Flame B. Yeah, good stuff there. Oh, she has a shot. She has a fever. Okay. Yeah, I didn't notice either. That makes sense. Whew. She has been true. I don't know how I feel about like if you had a vampire in your shadow. Oh, they just showed her hair getting cut. That's funny. Yeah, her hair was literally the twin braids. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Oh my god. Oh my god. This show is insane. Okay. Okay, he was a fake. You're confirming it for me? We can trust Senjuga. Oh, but a fake can be real. Then what makes a fake a fake? Yeah. Interesting. That is some juxtaposition. I can't. I just am. I'm just stun locked. You can't fake anything because y'all naked. That means y'all are being real. Narratively. That's probably why this entire conversation happened while they were naked, right? Eat her disease? Good question. Because it's like they're naked because they're being real with each other after the grudge for so long. Oh, true. She can't treat the system. She has to eat the monster. I like that. Just booty in my face. Oof. Don't get in the bath with him. Oh, we're fine. Everything's fine. Oh my goodness, what were you doing for 400 years? That's true. That's such a good point. That would be horrible. That would be horrible. And then they all rushed in. Yeah, that'd be the worst thing that could happen. You do like donuts. He's drowning himself. I would drown myself too, dog. Ain't worth it. True, we both go down with the ship. We're interconnected. So we have to kind of work together. Grab the sister and grab Shinobu and dump her. Don't let her see that she... Oh, it's too late. Why are you bathing with a child? A great question, Suki. And she closed the door. She didn't even ask the question. She just left. I would have left too if I saw that. Yeah, you see how bad it is. What girl? You hallucinated. A knife? Good job, Tsukihi. She said, that's a problem. Tsukihi and I are on the same wavelength. 8? She even brought a shield. I'll let it slide. Dude, me and her on the exact same wavelength. She even said, I'll let it slide. That's so funny. That's my line. No, it's our line. Me and Tsukihi get to be on the same. Learn to knock? Shut up. Shut up, Araragi. My knife will go through your muscle. Don't matter if you're a bodybuilder or not. Get your feet away from me. Oh. What is the name of that guy from iCarly, dude? Do you know what I'm talking about? I'll talk about it later. Let me pay attention to this show. Why are you bringing up my death? Yeah, your lifespan ain't immortal anymore, huh? Oh, that's what we're talking about, his lifespan. Yeah. That's the word. You took it out of my mouth. That would be so pog. And them two will still be connected, all 500. They'll all die. Except them two. It's also interesting, it's like them two, like, they have like the broken relationship with each other, the damaged goods relationship. And that's the one that's like persists through time. Oh my goodness. She's still trying to convince him of that. He says we agree to disagree. Dunzo. I can't believe I'm just getting used to this right now. We live until we die. Oh my goodness. As your shadow. Dude, she's literally like a shadow of a vampire too. And so she lives in his shadow. That's some good stuff. Yeah, true. And it like somewhat narratively makes sense for them to be naked because that's what like nudity has been in the show, but like holy shit. Let me watch the ED palette cleanser. I paused it a little bit so your sync is off, by the way, if you're syncing it up. Oh, is this new? It's different. It's different. Whew, man, I feel like I gotta take a bath after that on the low key. Whoa, wait, this is so good. And I'm upset that my mind's a mess. Relatable. Chiru? The other sister? I'm by your side. Oh, it's everyone. Wait, who's stuck in that box? There's a lot going on. We're gonna have to frame by frame some of this. Wow, I like the visuals on this one a lot too. Just reminds me of the what are they called? The were they called witches in Madoka Magica? Reminds me of Madoka Magica. Go watch Madoka Magica if you haven't. That's a good show. I love Madoka Magica. Okay. Oh, we'll also have to read the thing. Oh, that was Shinobu Booty again. That was me throwing my phone out of my pocket. Okay. Now they get to talk, like, insanity for a second here. Oh, yeah. Context. You get the power of context. Okay. When Centaur uses them as projectiles. Dictionaries have turned electronic, but like us humans can? Question mark. Excuse me. Wait, what was that line you just said, Ankawa? Dictionaries have turned electronic, but I don't suppose we humans can. Okay, we've watched a couple shows about that in the past, not gonna lie. Okay. That was an episode. That was a crazy episode. For a lot of reasons. I gotta look up the guy. I threw my phone. Let me grab my phone really quick. Okay. iCarly creepy guy. I'm gonna explain this. I'm gonna explain a lot of things, okay? I'm not even going to start with talking about the show, because I'm going to be honest, I need a second to process. iCarly creepy producer. Dan Schneider. Yeah, Schneider. It was like, if you don't know the thing at all, so it's like shows with like teenage girls or whatever, you know, like iCarly, freaking, I don't remember like any other ones, maybe like Victoria or something, I don't know. Those like Nickelodeon shows or whatever, had like a lot of scenes with the girls and their feet in the camera, like doing weird stuff. And apparently, like, the idea is that the guy that made him, Schneider, was doing it as, like, to being creepy. So he would put those scenes in the shows and make that kind of stuff happen so that he would get, like, weird, he would get to see the weird feet stuff, you know? That's the idea there. Every single time Shinobu had her feet on the screen, that's just what I kept thinking of. Because it's like, can you stop putting a naked 8-year-old's feet in my face? That would be great to not happen anymore. Like this? I don't need to see her, like, squeegeeing soap between her toes. Holy. Okay. And to the craziest part, the dialogue here was, like, there was some really good dialogue. Like, this was a huge moment for the reconciliation, which, again, like, let me like, talk about their use of nudity, like, narratively, right? Nudity, in this show, up to this point, I've said this a lot of times, is, like, the truest self, or whatever, right? And so, you know, just try, I've talked about that before, so I won't go in the full spiel. Point being, though, when is it that Shinobu appears and Araragi and her talk it out? It's when they're both naked, so they're both at their truest self, like they're not playing games with each other or anything. And that's, like, the choice she makes for introduction, and also she can quip a little bit about the whole, like, whatever. So she chooses to speak it again after her silence, her intentional like silence to, she gave him the silent treatment, right? She chooses to do that again when they're both naked. So I can understand like that. And I'm actually kind of here for that. Except obviously there's like I at one point was at the beginning, like in the beginning of this, I was kind of saying like, oh, it's not that sexual. Like it's definitely they're naked, but at least they're not being very like erotic with it, it's just they're kind of naked. And I was kind of fine with that. It's like, okay, it's like it's all about like the atmosphere that's around the nudity. That's like one of the big things for me. So if they're like Nisemonogatari number, what was it, the third movie, part 3, or was it part 2? I don't remember. I think part 3, where Hanakawa and Araragi were getting freaky with it. That obviously was just coded in erotic things because they're whispering to each other and there's moaning going on and the jiggle physics and everything is just going crazy. As opposed to the beginning here, where I'm gonna be honest, there's like 0% chance this is on your screen right now unless maybe I have the pip. Maybe I have this up for the pip, because like I am not putting this on YouTube. I'm not risking that. It just is what it is at this point. But with the scenes they did kind of in the first half with Shinobu being naked, it was just, she's washing her hair, right? And she's just sitting there. And like she did do that acrobatic flip or whatever, but that's not really erotic as much as it's just like that's what she does. I don't know. It's like, that's like, I don't know. I kind of got like a little bit of erotic vibes off that. Like, okay, that sounds so bad. Like that the show, because like she's jumping around, right? She's showing off her body. That's what I mean. Like there's some overtones going on there. But that was pretty minor, like all things considered. So like the first half I was thinking, okay, like they're treating the nudity in a very base form, more as like like a narrative thing, whatever. But then as it goes on, Araragi is starting to look at her a bit differently and whatever, and then we start to like really linger on her body and the shots get closer and the parts like only like very few soap bubbles are actually covering up her like her nude specific areas. What does that even mean? Nude specific areas, huh? Like her nipples, right? Like that's covered up by soap. Like where it's like the thinnest coverings, and it's like we're getting closer and now we're doing this weird feet thing. And then she like gets in the tub with him and she's even closer, and then she's like kind of almost kissing him when she's like saying like kill me now, and like her entire booty's poking out and she's looking back and saying what are you looking at? Like now she's actually addressing the whole idea that yeah, she's naked and he could see that as like a sexual thing. So it's like the longer it went on and the longer they were exposed to each other, there's like it shifted from just being like a narrative, like they're being honest with each other like completely and totally, and into like actual like sexual things. And then of course they do a joke with the sister walking in and the knife, kind of based off that. But it's I can also like, I do appreciate that Shinobu like tries to convince him to kill her, and what she does is she leans in close and like touches him. She breaks the touch barrier, which was already like kind of broken when he was washing her hair, right? But she like very intentionally is like getting close to him, and like even when he denies her, she's like rubbing his chest a little bit and laying on him. So it's like even in a kid's body, which that's kind of weird, and I have a lot of reservations with that we will put on the shelf for now. Even in this like situation with her, she's still like trying to use like some sexual part like elements, like some seductive's better. She's still trying to like using some seductive elements in order to try to get what she wants out of him, which is very in line with feminine vampire, femme fatale, yada yada yada. It's just super weird to me to see it out of in an 8-year-old's body. That is like, man, it's just, I have so many worries about this. Like, outside the show. Like, as a society, or whatever. Is this really, like, what we should accept in, like, our media, in our, like, anime? Or is this a problem? Like, is this something problematic and something that should be, like, I don't know. And, because, like, I obviously am not very comfortable whenever I see a non-clothed 8-year-old child seducing a 18-year-old man in a bathtub. That's weird. I'm not here for that, right? I'm here for everything they're saying to each other because it's super powerful for their relationship, and I'm gonna try to get into like what that means in regards to like Kizu, because there's some really really good stuff there. But the actual like literally what the pixels on my screen, it's like I don't like that. I think it's gross and weird. And it's like, why do I feel that way? And this is such a weird thing to even talk about. Like do I feel this way because like obviously society, this isn't like pedophilia is bad in society, right? If you do anything like that, you're in prison for the rest of your life for pretty good reason, because obviously you can't, they're kids, right? Obviously, that's a problem in society. So, I mean, I just, like, is this like a normalizing, or is it's the entire thing of just like lollies in general. Like, I've never liked lollies as a thing. Like, I'll be honest, I think it's weird and it feels like, and it's like, I'm not even able to really say like, oh, different ships for different, or, different tastes for different people, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not going to kink shame or whatever. And lollies aren't necessarily sexual. Like, the terminology is a bit complicated. But it's like, it's hard to just say, like, you stay in your corner and I'll stay in mine. Because societally, we are, like, most societies are super against any sort of sexual things with children. For a lot of really good reasons. So it's such a like controversial thing, and so seeing it just in my face like this, I ain't used to that. This is the first show that like has had a super strong lolly character in it, especially to this degree, like sexually. Because it's not just her naked. Like, it's obviously like, it wasn't as bad as like the Hanakawa scene when it came to like how sexual it was being. Like, it was pretty light relative to the rest of the show in a lot of ways. But it's still like, I mean, all the feet stuff is just weird. I don't know. I'm just voicing, I guess what I'm just trying to do is voice that it like obviously makes me uncomfortable. But like, I guess the question that kind of comes off of that is like, should this be something that people watch? Like, should this be something that people celebrate in media and are fine with? Not even celebrate, but are fine with in media, Or is this something that should be like, talked down on or censored or blah 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 or whatever? I don't know. I worry that there are people that watch this, is guaranteed. There's at least one, and I don't know the percent, I'm not even gonna make a guess, but there's at least a couple people that watched this and were like into it, and then afterwards were like, into it. And so like that can be worrying, because if are you, like, promoting that? Are you getting a boulder rolling? Are you, like, awakening things in people that are like, really seen horribly societally? Or is this fine because it's pixels and people can distinguish, fantasy from reality and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, man, I don't fucking know. I'm just trying to watch shows, man. I'm just trying to watch shows and get bars and, have really crazy character moments. Like, this is the kind of crazy stuff that's like controversial things like this are so much harder to talk about in like this, like in this format where like obviously I'm talking to you and I'm just ranting at a camera. Like, I'm not like scared, but like I am worried that I'm gonna look in the comments after this and people are gonna be like attacking me for like attacking this and being like, oh, people can fantasize or like fantasy from reality, like people aren't being weird, it's just as long as they don't blah blah blah. Like, I feel like this could be that, but then it's also going to be people like, oh, normalizing this is wrong, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's just so controversial on both sides, and I'm such a middleman. I like just taking the middle ground and not dealing with conflict a lot of the time. But, like, I'm right now supposed to be talking to people how I feel about it. I don't know how I feel about it. So that's basically where I'm at with the Shinobu stuff. Other stuff. Let's go to the beginning. Karen has a fever. We'll dig into some of the dialogue there. About like, because, okay, we can even see sweat on her face a little bit. So I guess they were foreshadowing it a tiny bit, which is kind of fun. And I suppose there was the line of, I don't think you would have been able to hit him from Tsukihi. I think it's right here. I don't know, somewhere in here. Where is it? But I don't think you'd have been able to hit him back. So I think this is, or I guess this was Hanakawa saying it. That was also like a bit of foreshadowing for Karen being in a bad physical state. So, good stuff there. what happened? Tell me what happened. Nope. You called me here and then nothing happened? And then okay, so they just kind of talk for a little bit. Karen obviously, yeah, she's sweating and I don't know. Obviously she has her fever going on, but he moves to the side with Hanakawa. Hanakawa reveals that she's been like working with the Fire Sisters on the spell, which the spell is what happened with Sengoku with the snake, so that's the spell that's circulating around, like a way to weaponize your grudges against people. Cool concept. But yeah, so that's what's been going around, and Hanakawa, using her intelligence or whatever, has been helping out the Fire Sisters with that, like pursuing that, I suppose. There's also that little bit brought up about like domestic, like a little, like, I don't want to say domestic violence because that's such a lace term, but like Araragi thinking about hitting his sister. Let's just say it bluntly how it is instead of trying to assign terms to it. Which of course relates back to Hanakawa getting hit by her father, which still like pisses me off, you know. Interesting that Hanakawa says like it's suitable in some cases. I don't think I would ever use physical punishment, you know, and I don't know if I really have an opinion on if it's suitable in some cases or not, because that's so vague. Like, what is some cases? Like, you can always go to the extreme and say, okay, your kid just stabbed 7 people to death and then walks up to you. Are you allowed to slap them across the face? Like, yeah, I'm gonna slap my kid if he murdered some. Like you can jump to the extremes or whatever. So I'm not gonna say like a blanket statement. But at least for Hanakawa, like for her to say it is kind of interesting because it's like she was raised with that, and it's like if you're raised with physical violence in your household, physical punishment, let's say, then I think there are studies that confirm that people that are raised with it then like do it to their own kids a lot of the time. Not always, but like that's the pattern. You know, violence begets violence, physical punishment begets physical punishment, that kind of thing. So I don't know. That's like it's interesting that specifically Hanakawa voices that she's okay with it sometimes because of course it happened to her. That could be her like people that have had bad things happen to them. I feel like normalize it as a coping method. Like that's a thing I think people can do. So I'm curious if she's doing that right now, or like how legit is that statement of hers, as opposed to her like coping and trying to normalize something bad that happened to her. I don't know. Something to think about. Hanakawa is really good at lying to people. Based off of our history with her, you know? Based off of her hiding her feelings for Araragi and never being upfront about that, even when he got a girlfriend, and she still had those feelings, and it caused those problems, and then the cat burst out. Her with her guardians that she's living with, because I know like her parental thing is kind of an entire thing, but the people she's living with, how she's trying to be like not good girl, but like normal girl, Hanakawa and all that. So it's hard to tell like how real she believes that, as opposed to her just saying that because she's like normalized it, or she's lying to herself, or she's actively lying. Who even, you know, hard to get a read on her. But yeah, I mean, it's also the case of, and I mentioned this a little bit, Araragi to his sister is different than like a dad to a daughter. You know, the power dynamic's completely different between siblings. And that doesn't mean that like slapping a sibling is okay, right? Like I have a lot of siblings, and I don't think I've ever like physically attacked them out of anger. I don't think so. I honestly don't think so, right? But like I think that would be more normal and okay compared to like a parent smacking a kid. You know, a sibling smacking a sibling, you're on more equal footing. So kind of a little, not apples and oranges, but Araragi slapping Karen wouldn't have been as bad as Hanakawa getting slapped by her dad. That would be my statement. So her bringing that up is, you know, kind of fun, kind of interesting. Not fun, opposite of fun, sad. It is interesting. I like this little bit here. How Hanakawa brings up how Araragi acts different with his family as opposed to with the squad, with everyone else. Desperation is an interesting word to use with family. Feels more desperate. Yeah, Hanakawa looked so different. I literally didn't recognize her. That was crazy. Also, I want the banana chair. I mean, that desperation could come from like a care, you know? Like, he's known these girls, his sisters, for 15 and 14 years respectively, to like Karen and Tsukihi. So like if they got in trouble, I feel like it's like so much. I could see it being more primal, like his response to them being in trouble being more primal because he's known them his entire life. You know, it'd be like, I don't know if this is at all like a thing. I'm just gonna make this up. This is completely made up. Do with it as you please. This idea of like if you've known a person when you were like 5 years old, because think of a 5-year-old. Like 5-year-old's primal, you know, feral. The 5-year-old's mad at you, they bite you, that kind of thing. So if you knew someone when you were young and you were primal, does part of that primal spirit like carry with you in your interactions with them? Is that maybe where the desperation comes from? Because is it like he's known them even when he was super young? So like his young reactions to problems, you know, like inexperienced, rash, desperate, feral, biting, like that kind of stuff that like, kids do in response to things, has that like carried with him at all to him now thinking on them like that? Because he's always been with them, so it's like I can totally see it being like a completely different personality. I mean, people act different. A lot of people act different with their families than they do with friends. I mean, that's something I'm sure most people can relate to. Desperation is just such an interesting word that I'm like trying to think of ways that could have how that could have like come up. Oh yeah, you're only right. You aren't strong. That's interesting. I mean, man, it makes me just think of Araragi. Because like just Kizu or whatever. I don't know. Just because you're strong doesn't mean you like. He was wording it so much better than I am right now. Just because you're right doesn't mean that you'll win. Let's say that. And that's totally what he was saying, right? A hero is first most strong. Let me get these lines. These are some good lines here. Yeah, if you're not strong, you'll lose, and a hero always wins. Therefore, the utmost trait of a hero is strength. That's some like, okay, that's some interesting logic and like some interesting... Or the first requirement, not necessarily the top attribute, but the first requirement is being strong enough to actually do justice. I also like how Karen is like looking away, uninterested, and Tsuki's like got her head down. It's like they've heard this all the time. I could totally imagine this being like the 8th time that Araragi's given them this rant, you know? Until you do, what you're doing is just a game. So their lack of strength is one of the main reasons that Araragi's considering them fakes. It'll only be fakes. So it's not even that they're using, not necessarily that they're using justice as a excuse for violence. Like that could still be part of it, for sure. But it's also that they're not strong enough to even do justice, you know? Man. I mean, that's just a great thought. If you're curious, I mentioned Thrasymachus. Oh, I gotta read this. Dude, my attention is so split this episode. I'll real quick mention the thing, and then I'll read this. The Thrasymachus mention is beginning of Plato's The Republic. Thrasymachus is one of the people that they're arguing about what justice is, and Thrasymachus is one of the people that says that justice is the will of the strong, basically, which is very like loosely part of what Araragi's saying. So, if you're curious what that reference was to, there's the thing. Go read The Republic. It's a good book. Okay. Let me read this. When it comes to comparing the Araragi sisters, the Fire Sisters, it's undeniable that Karen, who does the fighting, attracts more attention. However, that gives the false impression that Tsukihi is the good little sister, and I want to avoid that. She did grab a knife when she saw Araragi in the tub there, so... Back in the days when Karen, Tsukihi, and I were in elementary school, I recall that Karen got into some kind of trouble. They weren't called the Fire Sisters back then, and they often acted separately. In any case, something happened and Karen got cornered. Tsukihi jumped off the roof of the school without hesitation to save her. I don't know if it was luck or if she calculated it precisely, but she landed on the roof of a truck that was randomly parked there. What is this, a kung fu movie? She survived, but her image as a mature, introverted person was ruined in a flash. Of course, she broke several bones and still has scars from her honor wounds, as she prefers to call them. Wait, okay, so Karen got cornered and Tsukihi just dove onto a truck and broke her bones? I don't know how that would help the Karen being cornered part. Now you just have broken bones and you're on a truck. But you know what? If it worked, it worked. I was really surprised when she didn't lose a single friend due to that. Anyway, Tsukihi's extreme, and she's capable of suppressing that extremity without being aware of it. This means that whenever she throws a fit, it isn't simply histrionics, but her running wild intentionally. She runs wild intentionally. Is something so dangerous even possible? The problem then lies not in her throwing fits, but in the true wildness lying behind them. That is the essence of who she truly is. Ooh, she runs wild intentionally. She runs wild intentionally. I want to make it into a haiku, bro. She runs wild intention. Intends to run wild. She intends to run wild. Boom, haiku there. 575 or never mind. Histrionics, I want the definition for that, so I'm going to get the definition really quickie. Histrionic, exaggerated dramatic behavior designed to attract attention. The archaic dramatic performance of theater. Interesting. Histrionic personality traits, specifically people with histrionic personality disorder, are typically characterized as flirtatious, seductive, charming, manipulative, impulsive, and lively. Okay, so it isn't simply exaggerated dramatic behavior designed to attract attention, but her running wild intentionally. That's interesting. Okay, let me go back to the top and skim. Yeah, we know Tsukihi isn't actually the good little sister. She's actually the crazier one. Araragi's used the word hysterical before. Tsukihi jumping off of a roof to land on a truck. I mean, without hesitation to save her. That's a great example of what Araragi was talking about, the whole justice and strength thing. Even if Tsukihi saving her sister was the just thing to do, she didn't have the strength to survive the fall. And I don't know how her landing on the roof of a truck and breaking her bones really helped save her sister. So, good intentions only are the start. You have to actually be able to back up what you do. You can sit in your bed and hypothesize about all the charities you're going to start and all the people you're going to save. Good intentions ain't doing nothing try to eat good intentions. Oh, you're starving? Good intentions. I wish you weren't. Okay. Cool. Her image as a mature, introverted person was ruined in a flash. That's really funny to me. I like how Araragi's surprised that she didn't lose a single friend due to that. It's almost like the friends, Tsukihi's friends might already kind of know her to be kind of crazy. I mean, if you're friends with somebody who acts introverted but they explode every once in a while, then I feel like it would be reasonable for her friends to be used to her being kind of crazy sometimes, So for Araragi to not really understand how close his sister might be with her friends, I think that would make sense as to why that line is even there. That he doesn't understand, or he doesn't understand that his sister's crazy side is something that she would show people that she's close to, because obviously he knows about it because them two are close and them two have lived together forever. So if she's close with her friends, then yeah, they'll find it eventually, Unless it's one of your deepest, darkest corners of your soul. The more you spend time with someone, the deeper they'll get into knowing you, right? Well, mostly. That's a very general statement. Anyway, she's extreme. Her running wild intentionally. I love that line, and they repeat it twice so you know it's important. Her running wild intentionally. She runs wild intentionally, and they italicize it. And then Araragi deems that dangerous. It's like method in madness. Runs wild intentionally, method in madness. I mean, that kind of feels like a similar kind of thing there. So it's not that she throws fits, but there's actually a wildness in her character. It's not like it's not like there's some external madness that she's driven crazy by circumstance or by context or whatever. It's that she has the wildness within her that then comes out. I mean, that's kind of hype. Which makes me want to see Tsukihi jump off a roof or something. Can I see some of that more? I mean, I guess she did it a little bit with the dagger thing. Right here. I guess that's a little bit wild, but I don't know. I really like that. Okay. I forgot what I was talking about before I read that. Oh yeah, I was talking about Thrasymachus. We're gonna ignore that. We don't have to go into that. Go read the book. Blah 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 blah. Let's see. What are they talking about? Anything I care about? Yes, I care about everything they say. Give me some lines. Oh, the Chan. Or Chan or whatever. She getting onto him for. I think that's like a comfort thing. So he's like embarrassed that he's. This is a guess based off my very little honorifics knowledge. I think that was like he. Correct me if I'm wrong. He like let it slip that he actually like, cared about them and were like more comfortable with them being the Fire Sisters, and then his sister was like, or Hanakawa was like, oh, you do care. Aw, so cute. And then he was trying to like backpedal a bit because it was embarrassing or whatever. This, oh my, I forgot this. Okay, we're going to do an entire pass. I'm just going to only read the text on the screen, and then I'm going to read what's actually being said, because I'm going to be honest, I didn't catch either. Okay. I'm reading the one on the screen. Sengoku asked me to sit on her bed. Oh my, so fast. Why is it so fast? Sengoku asked me to sit on her bed. She said I couldn't even sit anywhere else. I'm sitting on my chair. It's late, Hanakawa. Why are you in your uniform? Okay, so is this like the conversation they were having that was cut out of the show itself? Like, because we're watching them have a conversation, but on the TV, it's like additional conversation they had. That's crazy. Hanakawa Tsubasa is always in her uniform. Okay. So it's fine, but don't you have any other clothes? I've never seen you not wearing your uniform. You saw me in my pajamas. Pajamas don't count. We did see her in her pajamas in Kizu. I've also seen her in her underwear, but that doesn't really count either. This is true. What I want to see is what Hanakawa picks to wear when she's going out somewhere. True. A night on the town. When will I ever see them? Well, there's no real reason. Why do you want to see that? You have a girlfriend. Calm down. I met Tsukiji-chan this evening, and then we came here. Should I start the story there? Dude, he's literally trying to... on the TV, he's trying to figure out when he's going to start the story that we're watching as the audience, because he's, like, telling the story to us, you know? And at the start of Kizu, it was, like, the whole, you know, like, no one's even, I don't know why anyone would even want to hear this story, and I wouldn't even want to tell it. He's literally asking, where should I start the story? And the story is the thing we're watching. Like, the layers, dude. And then it turns off. That's crazy. Okay, now we read what she was actually saying. The spells are causing a lot of negative effects. True. Spells. And she also did mention that there was, Sengoku is just the one that was most affected, but other people presumably are being affected as well. Mostly in terms of relationships. Makes sense. But when we looked into it, we being the Fire Sisters and Hanakawa, and maybe a little bit of Senjukahara, because that was a thing, we found out that all the spells going around were curses. True. There was a trend. They thought that someone was spreading them deliberately. It was probably just a guess. I mean, is that true, though? It wasn't completely wrong. And then do we start talking about Kaiki? When do we talk about Kaiki? I didn't really catch how Kaiki was connected. I was more just surprised that I was talking about Kaiki and then he was brought up, you know? That was kind of funny. Look, and there's just Hanakawa's feet on the screen. That's good. Since the start of summer vacation, I suppose. Also, ooh, good question. Great question that you just asked. You don't remember asking a question? Okay, sorry. The thing I'm talking about is her hair. Why'd she cut her hair? Why'd she remove her glasses? It's like, I don't know. That's a great question that I was thinking about a little bit. I see cutting hair and removing and like changing appearance as like it's a new me, you know? And so post the Tsubasa cat with Araragi, where like, I don't know how, like she wasn't super cognitively aware of everything that happened there, I'm pretty sure, you know? But post all of that stress being unbottled and, you know, she's getting ever closer and closer to like traveling around the world or whatever, I feel like she's letting herself, or she's like changing herself and trying to, you know, trying on a new look, acting a bit different. Obviously, she's not, like, she's spending time with Araragi's sisters, but she never told Araragi about it, so, like, I feel like there's some distance that's grown between the two of them. And it's like, is this, like, is there, I feel like there's a thing I've heard before that's, like, cutting your hair is like, a, indicator for getting over someone. You know, it's like, oh, I don't love him anymore, snip, snip. I think I've heard that before. I'm not sure if that's being used here or if you can make that comparison, but it could be. that she's like trying to get over him a little bit by cutting her hair and like changing up how she looks. It's like, oh, I don't have to look this way for him. I can look pretty for me now, that kind of thing. Totally here for that. Thought that was interesting. They really didn't even like talk about it much, that she looked different. Because like Araragi already knew she looked different. Because or else he would have mentioned it, right? Like he's been tutoring with her, so he already knew about this. So this was only a reveal to us, the audience. But since she isn't the focus of the story, the focus of the story is the Karen B and all that stuff going on. Her looking different isn't even like a thing, really. It's more of a side note, I guess you could say. Some fun stuff there. Yeah, like Araragi is just kind of chilling. He's just sitting on his banana chair. I want that chair so bad. Wow, what is going on here? There's like cables. Why are there cables? There's like cables hanging from like the bits and pieces there, and then Hanakawa's like whispering like a devil on Karen's shoulder, whispering into her ear. So like, does Araragi see this as Hanakawa bringing Karen and Tsukihi into the world of oddities, which is something that he and Hachikuji were talking about as like something that would better to be avoided, I could see that being the case. And he definitely, that image of her whispering into Karen's ear does twist her as like a kind of villainous, like a little bit. I just think of like Satan whispering in the ear, like do some sins, That's kind of the atmosphere that I think came with that. So for her to respond and say, don't try to make this my fault, it's kind of funny. You're too smart and always find the answer. But that doesn't mean that you have the strength to actually answer the question, You can find the key, but you don't. What if the key's heavy? How are you going to lift the key? Do you like that key analogy? Oh, I did. Okay, I'll calm down. And I... Oh, was he thinking about Shinobu, maybe? Or did his honorifics change? Wait. Go back. Go back. Just as Karen-chan, Tsukihi-chan, and I. And then he restarts. Just as Karen-chan, Tsukihi-chan, and I must accept our weaknesses. Maybe he, like, remembered that Shinobu was in his shadow there. That was, like, a little bit of foreshadowing for, like, Shinobu popping back up. Because he was like, oh, there's also more than us three. It's the Shinobu's part of this as well. Maybe, but he also is talking about accepting our weaknesses. So maybe just the concept of him having to accept his own weakness caused him to hesitate and restart his sentence. I could see both of that being the case. Or either of those. But you gotta accept your strength. Good stuff, yeah. A little compliment. Went to talk to whoever was behind this. Is Kaiki spreading the spell and conning people and being like, oh, you want to get back at this person for wronging you in your relationship and you're like envious or you're pissed at them or whatever? Chant this spell ritual or whatever, Could Kaiki be involved? Because they're about to bring up Kaiki. I was busy with something else and arrived afterward. So I didn't directly see the culprit. If only I could have met with Karen earlier. So, or did Kaiki poison Karen? Is that what happened? With the bee? Okay, so Kaiki poisoned her. So when Araragi met Kaiki, had he already done it? I thought, yeah, that totally could work. I was thinking that Kaiki had just showed up. Oh, that could have been the case. Yeah, when the help message was sent, it was probably Kaiki had just left or whatever. And then just random bath. But I think this bath is like taking place inside his blimp, like with the thing on the ceiling. And the blimp is that thing at the height of his room, which is just kind of cool. Also, good on Araragi for taking time to cool off. I think I respect that. I respect that move. And then it cuts back. That's such a crazy cut. It caught me off guard the first time. Okay. Okay. Tsuki-chan sent a message on his cell phone. Oh, and then... Oh, yeah, because Tsuhiki sent the help message. There was no response, so Hanakawa called. Makes sense. Makes sense. They trust him to respond. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. As I said, like 3 other times. Okay. And she threatened proposing to be Araragi's girlfriend. If you won't be a good girl, I'll ask Araragi-kun to be my boyfriend. So she literally... But it was the crazy thing to me is that Senjugahara, like, abided by that, you know? That she let that threat, like, control her. And then it cuts to his chain to be like, oh yeah, she was literally, like, got me captured. So yeah, I guess Hanakawa, like, in a way confronted, because, like, Senjugahara was obviously kidnapping Araragi. And so Hanakawa said, if you won't be a good girl. So it's like, if you won't be a good girl and let him go, then I'm going to propose to him and, like, mess with your relationship. And since Senjugahara, we know, has some, like, worries about the relationship from the OP and just the kidnapping in general and, like, some of the dialogue, that threat on the relationship when she kind of is unsteady already probably just let her be like, okay, I'll let him go. Plus Araragi's own really fire lines on, you love me for my kindness, you know? It's scary. And then he taps the bath with his chain, which, dude, this is crazy. The chain summons Shinobu. Because it's like, bro, they're chained to each other, you know? He's handcuffed to Shinobu always. So the chain summons her. And then they're naked because they're real with each other. Okay. Get back into this. What? Let me check some. Let me get their dialogue. Because they had a lot of really good dialogue here. And we finally get to see her, or hear her talk again. I've missed Shinobu talking. Because, you know, she didn't talk at all in Bake, so I was like, what's going on with them, you know? And then he starts tripping. Oh, Araragi. A pigeon that's been hit by a pea shooter? Like what? Like Plants vs. Zombies? And vampire hit by a silver bullet, which is like kind of morbid a little bit, you know? Because obviously that kills vampires, so she's like, oh wow. Like she's using an analogy of a vampire dying when talking to Araragi. I mean, obviously that's hilarious because that's what she wants to happen. Yeah. She had trouble giving him that silent treatment. She was bored out of her mind. And had to listen to frickin' Oshino constantly. Dude, it's crazy to me how, like in a lot of, like, I've seen anime before that'll do, they'll have, like, very close to nudity scenes, but they'll always, like, censor it with, like, a strand of hair or whatever, because it's like, oh, no, they're not actually fully, like, naked on screen. Can't you see there's one strand of hair, 2 strands of hair? And then it literally, there's, like, it just, the camera cuts off right at their midsection, you know? So it's like, oh, wow, it's not actually X-rated. Like, we're fine. Like, I've seen that happen before, and I always kind of roll my eyes at it. It's like, okay, you just want to get as close to nudity as possible without going to nudity. But what's crazy is, like, Monogatari literally, like, they're not doing that at all. Or they do it a little bit. They do it actually somewhat with, like, the soap bubbles later. But, like, they show her full chest here. You know? That's just crazy to me. Okay, give me some more dialogues. I like Araragi's happy about this. He says thank you. That's so sweet. Oh yeah, thanks for breaking me out of those chains. Those arms look pretty stupid. I appreciate you for that. I'm just gonna watch this full thing again. Actually, look here and just full focus dialogue because this dialogue is super important for them too. And them two's relationship is probably the one that has the most weight for me narratively. For that part of this, or narratively, I'll just say narratively and leave it at that. I really liked the ending of Kizu. Kizu was really good, and it has like a lot of questions as to like how their answers to a lot of the questions Kizu posed. Like that's what this relationship is. I am too busy talking to hear what she says. Okay, let me read this again. No need to thank me? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. I just do what I feel like. Always have, always will. Heard. Okay, yeah. It was to help you. Okay, so it's kind of funny. She doesn't want to say that she like wanted to break him out of the chains, so she's saying, well, she kind of is saying that, but it's not like I care about you and I want you to be free. It's I felt like breaking the chains, and luckily for you, that's what you also wanted to happen, you know? Which just feels like her kind of trying to like put distance between, or like hide the fact that she like cares for him to a degree. I don't know. Their relationship's super insane to me. I really like their relationship. Wash my hair. And now it's that she's driven by her, you know, her wants. And it was first breaking the chains, now it's shampoo my hair, which is funny. But it's also like, and I mentioned this, the, from your shadow, I've seen you do it. She watches him shower. Okay, interesting. Master servant, right? Like he was originally her servant, but now she's mockingly calling him master because he's the one that is like holding all the power, or most of the power in the relationship. Like he's keeping her alive more than, you know, they're kind of keeping each other alive, but he kind of holds the power in the relationship. She has to be close to him to get her powers, you know? She's reliant on him for the blood supply, all that kind of stuff. So she's mockingly saying, oh, my master, but then she still treats him like a servant, says, wash my hair. That's funny. I like that. And he's asking for permission, you know? I just can't tell how much I trust Araragi. And like in a... Like, what does he think of this? Of like washing her hair, you know? Is he being weird with it? Like, is he being Hachikuji with it? Or is he treating it as like a... Oh, look, in the mirror, we can't see her, but we can see the soap bubbles on her head. That's such a fun detail. Oh, that's so fun. The mirror, she's invisible. Good stuff. Frick, I lost my train of thought because of how good that was. What was I saying? Oh yeah, is he? How creepy is he being with this? Is he hachikujiing at all? I feel like a little later into this, like as the views of her start to like progressively get more and more sexual, like that's Araragi starting to like slip into a bit of a, you know, sexual mindset or whatever. I think you could make that argument. But like washing her hair and like adding in conditioner, is that like him trying to, you know, treat her well as like a servant to her, kind of like a callback to, you know, how much fun them two are having in Kizu and how close they were in Kizu? Or is it like, I don't think it's laced with any like malintentions at this point, you know, but it could be. I could see that as a thing where it's like, I'm gonna sneakily like, I'm gonna add more tasks of, I'm not only gonna give you shampoo, I'm also gonna give you conditioner so that I get to wash your hair longer because I'm being creepy. Like, I could see that as a thing, but I don't think that's happening. I think he's actually just enjoying, in a not creepy way, being like doing a service for her. And then, you know, they're naked, so they're being real with each other. That's like the thing of the show, one of the things of the show in what I've seen so far. So neither of us forgives the other. Cuts right to it. We can't let the past be mere water under the bridge. Even so, there's no reason we can't come together. It's like even their relationship is damaged goods, you know? Like they still have problems in the past that she says we haven't come to any conclusions. Man, I don't know, I like that. They just have a complicated relationship. You've been thinking for yourself. Yeah, what was Araragi? What's your take? What's your take? This show is just crazy to me. Yeah, now he's conditioning her hair. I can't be sullen forever. The line, I am not that small of a person, is funny because she is physically a small person right now. I'm just gonna say that out loud. Golden chocolate is my favorite. Huh? She's like giving him tips for being a good servant. If you're gonna buy something, buy golden chocolate. Okay, this I kind of missed as well. What's the bee doing? What's the problem with the bee right now? The monster that's afflicting your colossal sister. Colossal sister, Karen. Comes from Oshino. It's funny. She says it's that kid's, and then the upside down cross is like his earring. That's like such a good way to clue in that it's Oshino we're talking about. That sleazy little brat. Yeah, what does the bee do? Tell me. 14th or 15th century. Okay. No known cause. Infectious disease. It'll spread. Starts with fever. So Karen's currently dying by fever. Not what I was expecting this bee to be at all. Bee. How do we stop a bee sickness? That has to do with a fever? It's like a flame bee? Is it like the flames of justice are consuming her? I don't freaking know. This was written in a scroll. They were stung by a bee that could not be touched. And their bodies were wreathed in flames. And then, okay. And they cut to the red ominous moon because that's Kaiki. That's the visual we associate with Kaiki, right? Yeah. So how do we get rid of the symptom of the fever before she dies? Because like Shinobu says, like she can't stop that. She can't just suck out the venom, you know. She could attack the bee, but she couldn't attack the bee's sting. Yeah, I wonder why she said former class president. Was it literally just the haircut? Use a supernatural monster to poison my sister. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but why? What Senjoku Hara told us. Oh yeah, so it's like, okay, how could the fake con man successfully use a supernatural spirit to poison your sister? And then that's why we're talking about fakes being potentially more powerful, or yeah, blah blah blah. No reason to fake. Okay, it's all connecting. You could say like the best liars know the truth, you know? Like to be a master con artist, you have to be aware enough of actually what's going on so that you can con around it. I like that. Makes sense. There's some wisdom in that. Yeah. Okay. I just thought for a second the whole like washing thing. I got reminded to Death Note, and I'm not gonna like spoil. Like if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And then also just I'm not gonna like washing feet and just washing things in general is like a trope or a I don't know, washing away sins, washing away the past, blah blah blah. I mean, there's totally probably some like metaphors you could try to tie in with that. Though I guess that's about all I've got. Okay, let's just keep going. True. They're not even human. Ha- I don't have a choice. I suppose there's no point faking this in front of you. That's like true. I love like that's part of their relationship. Like if you this is what I'm talking about. And we get into it a little bit in a second here. Because now they're just talking. They don't. I feel like the rest of we're pretty good on the rest of this, and then it kind of turns into a joke for a little bit, so we don't have to like super hard read a lot of that. Then the question on the life, like right here, when it starts getting like grim dark and it's just the two of them, it's like because there's the question of what like their relationship is of two broken people that have to stay together. You know, I mean, there's shards of glass around. I mean, that's broken imagery. It's just the two of them in this like hypothetical where like everyone else has died, but it's still the two of them, like despite it all. So like him saying, "I suppose there's no faking this in front of you." It's like if they're two broken people together, and so like what is there to hide? You've already seen my fractured self. Like we're already bound in such a deep connected way for in our relationship that we don't have to fake being around each other, and that's like a benefit. Like that's like a level of depth in their relationship and a level of comfort that I don't think they would have if they didn't have that very like tied together broken relationship. Like there's no point in being not real because we like need each other. We're always going to be connected. That's just where we're at. So that's like it's like part of that silver lining and part of the positive spin that you can put on two broken people finding, you know, connecting their broken pieces together. Like this empathy, this ability to this reality with each other, like bearing your soul with the other person. That's like I feel like an example of what Monogatari is telling us about that whole finding your broken pieces with someone else thing. Like this is like potentially something that is a benefit out of that or whatever, or at least something we can see in these two in their broken relationship. I don't know, I just love that. I love that so much. That's probably my favorite element of the show right now. Okay, and then just eat her disease, and then as we cut to just wow, the whole let me just have an 8-year-old in my bath for a second, and then my sister walks in. Like holy crap. Okay, and then I don't know. I love the two of them eternally like bound to each other through their relationship. And it's no matter what bonds you forge with others, and like they're narrating this in like the test of time, but like what survives the test of time is their broken relationship. You know, that's just juice. That's just a banger. And then she's like, "Oh well, if you want to escape that, then kill me, and then by killing me, you'll be whole again." You know, he has a way out of their broken relationship, their relationship with each other as damaged goods. He has a way out, but that's killing her, which is sacrificing his ideals, right? And also like killing his partner in this relationship, not partner romantically, but just the other person in the relationship. So it's like even if he became whole again, could he even become whole again? You know, like would killing her and becoming fully human make him non-damaged goods, or would he just be broken in a different way? Like is the way out of killing her truly a way to be repaired? Because I would say no. Like the entire point of damaged goods and like that entire extended like thought is that there's no going back. Like that's at least how I read it. That's always how I've always read it. And Araragi's in the position where like he's getting tempted into what he what is told to him as a way back, But I don't think that's a true way back, because I don't think there ever is a true way back, you know? Like, things will just... Scars, you know? Scars will stay with you forever, that kind of thing. I'm so here for that. And then she you know, she's seductively trying to tempt him down that path. I mean, that's some really good stuff. Okay, let's watch the ED. Again. So, wait, okay. Karen and Tsukiki are, like, eating breakfast. And it's a heart? Okay. Who is that? Shinobu. It's Shinobu. That's Shinobu hair. These are all our different characters. Oh, look, it's Hanakawa with a cat. Sengoku. Hachikuji. Shinobu. Okay, I'm worried about that girl in the school uniform. Oh, I think their voices changed too. There's like multiple people singing this that are like the different characters. Because there's like, I'm by your side. I think that's Tsukihi 2 Karen. Okay, despite the fact that I haven't changed. Why does Shinobu look like that? And then that's like... Is that Konbaru? And Sengoku breaks and... It's an upside down Hanakawa, but before she gets her haircut. Araragi. I never expected this. Fireworks. Okay. Ooh, this is good. Okay. Look, it's far left, Senjugahara, Hanakawa, and then Kanbaru, and then Sengoku, and then Hachikuji, and then it's Araragi, but Araragi's stuck in the prison of Shinobu. Shinobu is the prison around him, and he's holding, like, the bars of the prison are Oshino marks as well. So it's like he's imprisoned through his relationship with Shinobu in a way, or something. Oh, and then it's Oshino and him looking at the fireworks alone. And then, man, what's going on here? I don't know what that one is. Who is that? I do not know. Is that Hachikuji and... Oh, is that the Fire Sisters? Oh, it's the Fire Sisters. Yeah, that's Fire Sisters. Okay, yeah. That's some good stuff. So I'm like dead silent right now. I'm just there's so much going on in the CD. I love the CD though. Oh, Araragi's just partying. Sengoku's partying too. Why is Sengoku a heart statue that Araragi's inside? Why is she like a statue specifically? Or like a weird thing with a heart in it? I don't know. I'll have to think on that more. It's such a good line. As your shadow. But I have no intention of getting along. Bro, his own shadow, like, betrays him. Like, the risk of your own shadow betraying you. But he loves her, dude. They care about each other. Even if they, like, have so much issue with each other. Like, yeah. And even it addresses it, like, we're getting close. We're bridging the gap. Piece by piece, we're figuring it out. Dang. I'm still... See, it's like... It's the problem that I have with the nudity. I'm going to talk about the nudity some more. I don't even know where I'm going to go with this. Is that it's in an 8-year-old's body. I do not really care that much that... Well, I care... Okay, it does help somewhat that it is not an 8-year-old's brain, you know? Like, that does help. Because obviously, if it was like... If she was acting like an 8-year-old, then that would make it even worse. Like, a lot. But it still is, it's still, I don't even know if I want to talk about this, man. Like, am I just going to cut this out? Frick. Like, what the fuck? Oh, this is interesting. Tsukihi says, you were going to listen to my story next, right? Tsukihi, what's going on with you? Does she have a problem too? that she wanted to talk to Araragi about, but Araragi's taking too long in the bath. Like, is it not just Karen that has a problem? Because Karen obviously is dying to be right now. Itsuki, and then closes the door and comes back with a knife. Yeah, if I saw... Dude, like... I don't blame her. He just gaslights his sister into, oh, she didn't exist. She didn't exist. Trust me. Okay. Okay. Yeah, maybe you imagined it. Surely. This show, man. This show, man. Man, I don't think the show has, like, evil intentions with what it's doing at all, you know? I don't think that, like, the show itself, I do have some trust in, but I don't trust the audience, I guess, in a lot of ways, you know? Because like, the show is doing enough really interesting stuff. It has so much depth. It has reasons for even a lot of the perverted stuff. It has, like, reasons for, but I don't trust the audience that watches the show to get to, like, understand that necessarily, and instead use the show for, like, nasty things, you know? I think that's, like, what bothers me a lot. Like, it's a lot of my concerns, I guess, aren't that, oh, the show is being gross, which, well, maybe it is partially that, but, like, a lot of the show being gross stuff is alleviated by all the stuff the show's doing with the gross stuff, like, you know? And aside from the gross stuff, like, I can let a lot of, you know, stuff slide because the rest of the show's really, like, good, and I enjoy a lot of the rest of the show. But then even the, like, sexual elements and, like, the nudity elements, even with, like, an 8-year-old girl, it's like, okay, like, I can at least understand some of the narrative things they're going for, so that kind of helps a little bit. But that doesn't change that there are people that are going to watch the show that are gonna, you know, be really creepy towards it and towards these characters, you know? How many people out there, like, dude, I don't even need to make the point. If I type Shinobu body pillow, I'm gonna get a lot of results, right? And that's something that, like, I'm not a huge fan of. And so even if the show's doing that, or doing this whole, like, doing the nudity and all this stuff as a way to, like, really get deep into these characters and really say some things, and especially, like, I really like how it's used as, like, a pure self thing, and because, you know, these two damaged goods people are, like, they start talking again when they're completely nude, because that's how deep their relationship is, despite how much problems they have with each other, that they start off real with each other. Like, I really like that, but that doesn't stop the fact that people are going to ignore or not realize all that really good stuff, and instead be like, oh wow, naked 8-year-old, I love that. Like, that's weird. I don't like that. I don't like that that's a thing. So even if the show's using that, or using this for, like, cool things, that doesn't negate the fact that people are going to take it the wrong way. And that is being very, like, sympathetic for the show, and assuming that the show does do all the sexual things, and all the perverted blah blah blahs, as a way to, like, character study Araragi, and as a way to explain these like, these really deep things and all that kind of stuff, you know. That does assume that, which I do think the show largely does that, but man, some of this stuff is so, like, in your face that it's hard to write it all off as the show, like, oh, no, like, the show's not being weird, that's just Araragi being perverted and sexual. It's like, okay, well, where are we drawing the line? Like, it's okay because it's from Araragi's perspective, you know? To a degree that helps, and to a degree it's like, I'm here for it, but that doesn't completely excuse it from showing a lot of really perverted things, you know? Perverse, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. And it's like, during the episode, I thought to myself for a moment, like, wow, I'm really getting used to this. Like, this isn't, like, I feel different than the first time this happened. Like, obviously, I'm thinking back to, like, Kizu Part 2, when there's that little bit, like, with, Shinobu dancing around, and, like, she flashes her booty for a second. That, like, really caught me in, like, a really weird way. Like, I felt icky coming out of that scene. And then there was this entire, let's see, like 11 to ED, this entire 12-minute, 13-minute chunk where it's not just like, oh, she flashes her booty for 2 frames. It's that she's just completely naked the entire time, you know? But, like, I don't feel like as like, icky, I guess I'll just use the same word, as I did back with, it's on our episode, right? Yeah, episode 4. Back with Kizu, right? So it's like, is it good that I'm becoming more used to this, you know? And that I'm, like, better, like, I'm more used to, like, a nude, like, a naked child. Like, that's not, is that something I'm trying to be? More used to that? I don't know, man. It's just weird. It's just weird and wacky. And not what I was expecting. I didn't realize that Monogatari was like this when I started watching Monogatari. I'm gonna keep watching the show because I love the show, despite a lot of its things that I have a lot of reservations with. It does enough other work that I'm totally here for it. It's just like I'm not gonna recommend this show to a lot of people because it's like I ain't trying to come across as like, hey, check out this show, and then they open it, it's like, oh, that's naked children. Like, I am trying to recommend that, and for good reason, I would argue. But you know, I don't know. Apparently, this isn't even like the rest of Nisei. I think it is going to be similar to this. So we'll definitely cross some bridges as we get there. But I am becoming more used to it piece by piece, for better or for worse, let's say. Honestly, though, think I've rambled long enough. Let's get into the next episode, episode 5 of Nisemonogatari. That was episode 4. Of course, if you made it all the way through this video, I do appreciate it. Not that many people make it all the way to the end. You know, I can check the analytics, 7%, 2%, 4%, who knows. You're here, that's what matters. I do appreciate for that. Of course, if you like the video, subscribe if you're new. I really do appreciate it. It really does help me out with algorithm kind of stuff, because, you know, big number go up, make me happy. Dopamine gets released in my brain. If you're trying to talk to me, comment down below. If you have any thoughts, or join the Discord and talk to me there. That's usually the best way to actually get my attention, because, you know, comment sections do be kind of spoilery sometimes, so I, you know, half and half in those. But yeah, that's all I really got for episode 4 of Nisemonogatari. On to the next. I'll be seeing you then. Peace.